I'm JC.
I'm Daniel.
This is Just My DIY.
Have you ever made yourself your own set of curtains?
Yep.
Did you do it to save yourself some money over the store?
Yep.
Instead of making it with grommets, did you instead use like a weird clip-based thing that had them hanging awkwardly on a rod?
Yep.
And did you do that because you just thought grommets were way too hard to install?
Yep.
Well, hopefully today we're going to show you they're not.
That's right. I never used grommets in my curtains because I thought they were complicated. However, we're going to show you how easy it is to take any curtains you make or some rod pocket curtains that you buy at the store and convert them into grommet curtains. This is really quick and an inexpensive way to add a nice polish to your room.
So here we're going to go grommet at you, bro.
There you go.
We're going to start with math so we know our placement for the grommets. But first we have to take what we've done off of the rods and let you admire the handiwork from history in the making.
We're actually showing this because we will need to remove all of this in order for the grommets to go on there properly. So if you have anything on the back of your curtains, just know you want a nice like 4-inch fold over at the top that's clean. So take off anything that you need.
Now we're placing this grommet kind of in place so we have an idea of its lazy hanging angle and getting the distance from wall to on center, which in this case is about 3 inches.
So we're going to give you a quick look here at our canvas that we have to work with. So again, this is 4-inch hem up top. We did iron it and removed anything that could be in the way.
Now we're placing our grommets on center about 3 inches from the edge like we measured previously. Figured out that we have about 30 inches to work with, and with the rule of thumb, 6 to 6.5 inches spacing between the grommets, we went ahead with 6. That gave us 6 grommets across the entire hem,
which is a great number to work with. So now we're going to make a template. You don't have to use a Cricut for this. We have one, so we went ahead and used the Cricut. We'll show you what we did, but you can always draw this out by hand. So what you do is you take the grommets, and one's bigger than the other because they're overlapping, and you take the biggest one, trace it onto a piece of paper and measure that so we know that the inside hole needs to be about 1 3/4 inches. And then we're going to get in design space here and create a rectangle that is half the length of the curtain. So this is 18 inches. And then we're going to put those 1 3/4 inch circles on it. We're going to do 3. And we did end up positioning these a little lower in that rectangle. We did not center them, and that's because we wanted some more material up top on the curtains. And we just eyeballed the measurements here so we can space them apart, again 6 inches apart on center. Once we get our 3 circles in place, we're going to make sure that they are perfectly aligned. So we're going to select all 3 and then go up to a line and align it to the top. That way we know they are all straight across. And then we're also just going to double check and make sure that they are spaced evenly. So we go down to distribute horizontally, and they pretty much were. Now we're going to, as a last step, attach everything so it cuts out all in one piece, and then we're going to go to make it. So we grab we're going to grab a piece of poster board for this, and we set our material. That's exactly what we're going to select. The Cricut does have a setting inside a design space for a poster board, and so we'll just search for it under materials and select it. So now we're just going to take a piece of regular old poster board and just do a rough cut on it. This is just so it'll fit on the mat. We have a 12 by 24 inch light grip mat that we'll put in the Cricut. So once this cuts, we are going to pull it off, and we have a fantastic template to work with. But one more step before we go over to our curtains is we really want to test this.
So we're going to use our invisible ink pen and draw out the circle, do a little snip snip, cut it out with a nice pair of fabric shears. And then of course we'll take the smallest of the grommet holes and insert that through it first to make sure that the fit is appropriate without overstretching or being under engaged. Here it goes. And we put it into place. They seem to fit pretty nice. We put the other piece over it and it snap clicks in place. And look at that. So we think it can work for our curtains.
So now we're going to move on to installing the grommets in the actual curtains.
We're going to clip everything in place. Along the top hem is our major measurement point. Again, invisible ink pen.
Disappearing ink pen. If it was invisible, you couldn't see it.
Disappearing. You got to work with it fast then, before it goes away on you.
We'll link everything that we use down below. These clips and that disappearing ink pen are great tools for this, as well as the grommets that we use. We got it all on Amazon.
Then once we have all of our circles drawn, we're going to go ahead and use the same pair of shears and scissor away.
One thing to keep in mind, especially when you're working on your actual curtains, is if you have to hedge one way or the other, always cut a little smaller. We did find with this template that we needed to cut on the very outside of that outline, but I was a little more conservative with this, and so when I grabbed that inside circle here, again, the smaller of the two grommet sides of the grommets, put it in there, it was a little too tight and it wrinkled up the curtains. That's not what you want, so ended up taking out the grommet, trimming it out just a little bit more, because you can always cut more, you cannot cut less. Just keep that in mind. So once we trim that out, you will grab that piece of the grommet, put it in, it fits nicely, no wrinkling or buckling around it, and we're going to put a lot of weight onto that to snap them together. We'll show you one more time a close-up. Excuse a little bit of the focus issues here. The camera was going on focus safari. But again, cutting that X there out of the center, that's going to give you a great way to cut around the circle in small increments. And then once you have everything cut out, grabbing that small piece of the grommet, see the one with the thinner circle, smaller circle, and inserting it and then snapping them together. So just do that 12 times and then you will have grommet curtains.
So we're going to accordion the curtain, make it easier to install on the rod. You want to make sure your outside hole is leading the curtain towards the wall. And we're placing in between the third and fourth grommet as the overlay for the attachment to the wall. Try and get your rod on center.
And just a couple more adjustments and you have grommet curtains. See, it's super easy to install grommets into your curtains, whether you make them or buy them.
So if you found this easy to follow, then you should go ahead and like the video and subscribe to it, ring the bell, grommet us with a comment. And of course, in the description is everything that we use to make this.
That's right. Also in the description are our social handles. Don't forget to connect with us across platforms. We love hearing from you guys. And also check out our blog at justmydiy.com. Thanks for watching.